turn off the radio.
Hey, this is Sal Vulcano, and you're listening to KXDU Radio.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, so my name is Sabina,
I'm April.
and we started KXDU in January of 2023. So it's super exciting for, radio to be back on our campus and to be hosting somebody like you. We're super excited to talk.
Oh, right on. Thank you.
So we are indeed a radio station. We mostly play music. So we wanted to ask you, who are your top 3 artists right now?
Oh my God. Um, that's a good one. Okay. So I'm really into older music. I have a record collection. I like a lot of old funk and jazz and stuff like that. But I don't listen to the radio all that much, like current day radio. But I guess Kendrick Lamar right now who's not listening to him? But I've always been listening to him. Teddy Swims is a new artist that I really, really like. Leon Bridges is another artist I love. Crumbin is a band that I love. I don't know if you guys are familiar with any of these people, but
Yeah, we love all of
Yeah,
them. I think
definitely.
Crumpin's coming to Red Rock soon, which we're trying to get tickets for.
oh, right on. Yeah, they're so great.
Yeah, no, love them. So out of all of those artists, which ones do you think would have been most likely to be biters as children?
Biters?
Yeah, like they bit people on the playground.
That's funny. Where I'm from, sometimes we used to say if you're a biter, it's like you copy someone. Like when I was growing up, that's what they called it. But a biter out of those people, Teddy Swims is pretty. He looks like he can be pretty out there. I think
I can see him chopping on some ankles for sure.
he might still be a biter.
Yeah, who
He
knows?
might
Who
still be a
knows?
biter, indeed.
We gotta get Teddy Swims on. He's asking the questions like the people want to know.
I just recently listened to a podcast with Gary Gman, one of my favorite comedians, who was talking about just the difficulty of being a comedian and kind of how to toe that line with comedy where you're talking about taboo, but the context of the podcast was he had said a joke on Twitter and had kind of got some clapback for it. And I thought it was funny, but he definitely received a fair amount of hate. So I guess the short of the long is, how far is too far? How do you measure, I guess, how far is
Okay.
funny without towing the line?
Sure. Well, first of all, Gary's a friend of mine, and I can't even believe Gary's in trouble for something he said. What was the joke? Do you remember it?
I do remember the joke. He said a woman walks into a police station and she says, "Help, help, I've been raped." And the police officer goes, "No, do you mean?" And she goes, "No, there were a bunch of them." It's a pretty funny one. I thought it was funny.
Yeah. Oh, look, if you're going to a comedy show looking for something to get mad at, you're gonna find it, right? I mean, that's just the type of person that is. If you're doing comedy the right way, you can talk about anything as long as there's a point of view and you're not just punching down on someone, and it's unfortunate. Like that's not comedy, like mocking someone for the sake of it's not comedy. But if you can find a topic and make it, find the humor in any single topic, which is our job. I mean, you do it in a certain way, a skillful way, and basically that's the end of that, right? So I wouldn't be sweating that joke too much if I was Gary. Everybody knows what he's about, so he's one of the best joke writers we got. So
No,
um,
he's so clever. He's so clever. And you are
yeah.
too, most definitely. Just the amount of intention that goes into the jokes that you guys write. It's very lyrical, it's very poetic, and ending on consonants gets more laughs, and just to know that is just so clever.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, that's the thing that I love about it since I'm a little kid is just I love that minutia of it, the science of it, and it's just both in the written word and the performance of it, right? So I love tweaking, waiting half a second, or ending with this cadence, or finding just the right word where I know that this word is funnier than that word, or describing it, and that whole kind of thing is what I love, and that's the process of it, right? So when we film a special, that's at the end of a lot of years of touring or working on that material, and that's a final product, but that the whole process is all the way up through that point, right? And that's that's what's so fun about it, right? And so just the job in and of itself, I love. I'm sure Gary would say the same exact thing.
For sure. And then for as much of an artist as you are, have you ever made a joke that just flopped so unbelievably hard that you were second guessing your career, anything like that?
Yeah, if you're a comic and you're working, you're gonna bomb. That's part of it. You have to. If you're not bombing, you're not doing it right. So, I mean, I've been on stage doing comedy now for, I just in March 4th, I celebrated 25 years on stage as an improviser and sketch comedian with the guy.
Congratulations.
Thank
Congratulations.
you. And then I've been doing, stand up, pretty hardcore for maybe the last 12 or so years. So, I perform nightly, and I'm always writing. So, you get better at bombing as you get more experienced, and you bomb less as you get more experienced, but it's still there, and there are those nights where just nothing's going to go your way no matter what, and in the beginning you take them a lot harder, and maybe you do question your career. But now at this stage, luckily, you have enough behind you that you know that this is just part of the process, and it can still shake you a little bit. Like you hate to, like, on a weekend, on the way home, I hate to have the last show not be great, or and you go home with that feeling. But no, it's all good. It's all good. A lot of times I'll turn that bomb into something funny. You got to call it out.
And at the end of the day, the haters have to answer to your tour that you're currently selling out. So simply, who's out? Who's on top? Who's on top?
Exactly. I'm not really looking to mix it up with anybody. I mean, like, my audience will find me, and the people that waste their energy, online people and trolls and haters, like, oh God, that's terrible. That's a terrible existence. I don't really spend much time worrying about that. I've maybe in my younger like days, like kind of coming up, but I'm a little bit more established now. And things I prioritize I have a family and stuff, so.
Yeah.
I can't give any energy. The more any energy that I give to those people, I take away from my family, so.
No, that's amazing. We know that you have a family, you have a father. There's this awesome movie I love called The Other F Word. It's about this father in a heavy metal band, and it's how he balances like being, good enough to be traveling like, 200 days of the year, and this rock and roll lifestyle and smashing guitars and tattoos and all that, with like the parental duties of like taking his daughter to ballet class. So like with you being on tour, you're here in Denver and then you're gone the next night. Like, how do you approach being a father and a husband and then traveling so much for comedy?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's hard, and it's always evolving and always a process. I just make sure I put them first. I have to go on the road. I get sad every time I leave them, but I make sure that when I come home, I'm ready to be a dad. Like I'll take if there's a red eye flight, I take that home. If not, I'm on the 5 a.m. or the 6 a.m. flight, and I wake up every day with my kid, and I put her down to bed every day. And unless I'm working, she gets all my time, So it's tough, but she's still young, and when she gets older, maybe I'll have them travel with me a little more. But it's I'll tell you, like a Nest Cam and FaceTime really help, because like when I'm in a hotel somewhere without them, I'll watch her like I'm there. I got a little camera on her crib and stuff, so I get to watch her, and I make sure to FaceTime. FaceTime is like I'm getting into it lately, because it's like definitely better than just a call. Like it actually feels like I get to see her and see what they're doing and stuff. So it's just hard, it's hard, but it's necessary. So it has to happen. So I just try to find the best way to do it.
No, yeah, and being totally present when you're home. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I really do that. Like I just turn the phone off. It's like you can't even reach me. Like I give her 100%. So that really does help, because that quality time makes all the difference.
Absolutely.
For sure. And then switching gears a little bit. So in 2023, you posted on Instagram.com that every 5 years you would add another Jaden Smith tattoo. My personal vote for the next tattoo is to be like his face blasted over your face. But are you leaning a certain way and deciding where the next one will be, or were you just lying on the internet for clout?
I have two of them now, right? On both of my thighs. One I got like 10 years ago on the show, and then the other I got about 5 years ago for the movie for Impractical Jokers. I did joke I would get his face on mine, or I would get like Willow and Jada and Will, and have like a Smith family yeah, like a Smith family Mount Rushmore on my side. But it's funny because it's the 5 years is up. So the last one I
No,
got.
I'm here to hold you accountable. I'm here to let people want to know.
There's lots of good tattoo shops in Denver.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. The last one I got, Jaden was there and he posed for it. Um, and you know what's so funny? I guess he went to the Met Gala, I think it was like last month, and he wore like I guess like
A house on his
a house on his face on his head.
That would make an excellent like all across the torso tat
Or full back tattoo.
full back tattoo.
Yeah, that one's definitely got to be like a blade to blade, shoulder blade to shoulder blade.
Yeah.
I got so many texts that day from friends. I must have got dozens of texts with that picture being like, "This is the next one that day." So I guess that's it. That's got to be it.
Yeah, you guys are just tied together irrevocably for the rest of forever.
So obviously like the Jaden Smith tattoo is hilarious. It's a great bit. But you are also like an iconic meme, that one photo of you. And I know that you've expressed on podcasts before that it hasn't had the best like effects on your self-esteem. How do you feel about that photo like now? And then also just like the meme culture surrounding it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind the photo. I created that monster. I gave the guys sometimes on the show we'll like help each other. Like they'll be like, "Do you have a bad photo? We need it for something." And in season one, I was like, "I'll give you the worst photo I ever took." It was like that photo was about 20 years ago. I remember I actually have the flu in that photo. And it just was a terrible angle. And at that time, I was definitely not in the best of shape. And so I gave it to them and they kept putting it on and on and on. And I was like, guys, this is like by season like 6, I was like, it's not funny anymore. It's like
It's still a little funny. It's still a little funny.
I was like, we use this joke up, right? So I said, don't use it anymore. And right at that time, it became the meme. And what it was annoying about the meme was when it first happened, I couldn't post anymore without getting spammed with it. So I couldn't even use my socials. Like I couldn't even communicate with fans or friends because I just got thousands of that sent to me. So I like had to disable comments because I wanted to like, let it die down so I could use it. You know what I'm saying? So it kind of it's fun and funny. Like I don't mind it, but like at a certain point, it is annoying just in the fact that like to get spam. You know what I mean? Now it's taken on a full nother life of its own. Whereas like especially in colleges and your guys' age, I don't know how or what happened, but I perform at colleges and when I come through town, I see a lot of college kids and graduates and stuff, and they all have me printed out on some type of.
So we have flags in our dorm rooms.
Yeah.
We've seen the flags.
Yeah, dude, flags and shirts and quilts and sheets and like graduation caps and cakes and all this stuff. And I'm just like, it's just so funny to me because I really don't like I get it's just a kind of a thing and everyone latched onto it, but I really don't understand like what its purpose is. I get memes are memes, you know what I'm saying?
No.
But I asked someone once at one of the colleges, I was like, what is it that like what does it mean to you? What is it like? I don't get the purpose. And he said, well, you're our Lord and Savior. And I said, I don't want to be that. But no, it's cool. I take it. It's actually very flattering, that everyone uses it. I swear to God, I should have just sold it myself though, because I've never sold a piece of merch for that. And someone made millions of dollars off that page.
Yeah. No, your ticket giveaway like on our Instagram was probably some of the highest engagement like we've had since surviving the radio. Which
Great.
is super cool. But also like as a like college radio station in 2025, like we totally understand that like the art form is somewhat seen as like a thing of antiquity. So I was hoping you could share your opinion on like the shift into podcasting and streamer culture. And, if you could say some nice things about radio broadcasting so we can clip it and put it on TikTok and convince Gen Alpha that they should keep doing radio.
And we're relevant.
And maintain a
You
relevant
guys are already Gen Alpha people. Oh my goodness. No, dude, honestly, I grew up on, so there's a lost art. Like I appreciate radio so much. I don't listen to like top 40 radio, but I like there's Jazz 88 WBGO where I'm from. And it's like, I've been listening to that since I'm a kid, but like, when podcasts first started, they started to become popularized maybe like 15 plus years ago. I didn't really get it. I was like, but why is anyone going to go listen to like people just chatting about nothing. I didn't have like, I didn't make a parallel to radio. It just didn't feel that way to me. Now I see the benefit of it. Obviously, I've had 3 podcasts. I'm about to launch a new podcast. And it's good because it gives a direct line to your audience. Like, I mean, radio did that. Radio is different than TV in that way. And, of course, with like interaction and engagement with listeners and call-ins and all that stuff, obviously, a podcast listener is a loyal, avid listener, and it gives you like a direct line to your fans. So I get the value in it, but it's still not radio, and it never will be radio. And there's something about radio that I love, that it's a shared experience. Podcasts are downloaded and listened to on your own time, whereas like there's still a feeling of, if I turn a radio station on, I'm enjoying this, and I know that a lot of other people are having a shared experience with me. It's kind of like traditional television in a way versus streamers. It's the same thing. Like I still have an affinity, even though it seems silly, to traditional television, because I feel like when I put that on, I feel some type of connection with other people because other people are watching that in the same moment. And I think that the further we get into the digital age and everything right now, the more isolated we get and the more compartmentalized we get. And so for me, especially being older, I grew up at a time where like we only had radio, and we used to like listen to it with a blank tape in our stereos to record a song off the radio so that we could listen to it whenever we wanted. And that was like a whole thing. So the radio played a big part in me growing up, and like in my high school years and my college years. It meant a lot. It meant a lot more, and it played a much bigger role to people of that generation. So there's a residual of that for me still. So I totally appreciate it. And I tip my cap to you guys for actually, going in and reviving a radio station. I think we're going to see a lot more of that. I hope we are in traditional, like with traditional media, as well as like with my daughter. Like we have a record collection we started together, and we listen to actual records. So so hats off to you guys. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you. So changing gears a little bit, like who's funnier than you? Who are some of your comedy idols?
Everybody's funnier than me. That's
I don't know about that one.
That's the way I play this game. Like I have a lot of people I look up to. I play comedy like I play golf. I play against myself. So I'm my own barometer. As long as I'm getting better at it, then I'm achieving what I need to achieve, because there are so many talented people out there. So comedy doesn't really work in a fair way necessarily. Some of the best comedians I've ever seen are not like household names, and they should be,
Mm-hmm.
But no, I mean, I have, I could shout out every comedian that you might know that, like Bill Burr or Dave Attell or Roy Wood Jr. or, Dronnie Chang, Gary Gulman, for example. These are people that well, those other guys, Ronnie's a little younger, but I grew up watching Gary, and then Bill, and I become friends with those guys now, because comedians, it is actually a very small circle, especially if you're in New York or LA. And it's kind of wild to me that I grew up like idolizing these people, and now I'm on shows with them, and I can call them a buddy, you know what I mean? But there's so many comics that like you guys may not know. So I'd rather like say some of those names, like people like Gary Veeder or Jay Larson. Well, you guys are just all now getting to know Adam Ray, but he's amazing. He toured with me for a really long time. Dina Hashem is a really good comic. There's so many people out there to discover. So comedy's having a boom that it's never had before. So that's one thing about that, is if you're a comedy fan, or if you're not, like now's the best time to become one.
No, definitely. We all need to laugh. And so like, thank you guys for your service for that.
No problem. I salute you.
But yeah, and then sort of looping back to our conversation about you being taken on as like, like our Lord and Savior figure in like younger generations. Like, how would you say that, like, obviously, like, you've blown up, like, over the last year on TikTok with memes like Tonka Jahari. And so, like, how has, like, social media sort of, like, shaped how you interact, like, with your fans, or, like, how you, like, do comedy?
Sure. I don't enjoy social media outside of having a platform to directly promote and engage with my fans. In that respect, it's the greatest thing to ever exist for that purpose. It certainly helped my career. That Tonka Jahari thing. I mean, I just started filming season 12 of Impractical Jokers 2 days ago. Season 11 finale is happening in a couple of weeks. We got the pilot in 2010. So I've done close to 300 episodes of Jokers, and we've had about 4 or 5 spin-off shows. Um, yet Yet all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this past year, Tonka Jahari, which is I'm telling you, it's from 5, 6 seasons ago. It was one bit in one challenge from one episode, and it came and went. And it just goes to show you the power of social media. It's like that got just pulled out, and then it became its own thing, and just like the meme. And it's like it has helped me find such a young. So I'm finding a younger audience in you guys and stuff like that for two reasons. One, because of social media, because of my old meme, and because of things like Tonka Jahari, which is fascinating to me and much appreciated, right? So it's like so many people got to see that didn't see it before, and there's so much more of that. We have 300 episodes of things like that. So hopefully people enjoyed that and it's like, oh, let me see what else this is about, because there's just limitless amounts of those types of jokes and characters in the show. And then, the other thing is, just as far as like the Tonkas, also like people watch the show. You guys, a lot of kids watch the show with their parents growing up, from ages 5, 6, 7, 8, and since the show has been on now for 14 years. I now those kids are older and they're coming to my shows because they've watched since they were younger with their parents, and they're finally young adults with a little bit of their own money, and a lot of them are coming out to their very first comedy show, and it's my show. And it's like, this is amazing that this seed has been planted for 13, 14 years. And now I'm getting this whole crop of people interested in what I do, and and just coming to see me. It's like, I never really anticipated that. And it's really nice because with comedy, I like to speak to everyone. Like a lot of comedians, they'll get their niche audience or they'll get popular, but if you look in their audiences, it's just one type of audience member, and that's great. I mean, if you could succeed in any way, that's great. But I really appreciate and don't take for granted the fact that when I look in my audience, I see people from 10 years old to 90 years old of every single background. You know what I mean? So the show Impractical Jokers afforded me that. And then it's just something that you can't create. It took so much time and effort, but it's something I'm so grateful for.
No, I'm super excited. I remember being 8 years old, and every time my parents went to bed, I would sneak out into the living room on some candles. And I'm 21 now, and we're going to be there on Friday. Super excited. And this is my first comedy show, so I'm super hyped.
Oh, that's awesome. That's great. Yeah, it's crazy. And I'm sure you could watch the shows again and find jokes that went over your head at 8 years old.
No, I love the show too. And I remember watching it in middle school, and obviously stuff will be funny then and funny now in different ways and stuff like that. But
Sure.
I think the show just, it's a testament to you and your friends and your banter and your ability to be embarrassed, and I think that's phenomenal. You've had more punishments though than any other Joker. Is there one that you think was the absolute worst? Is there a punishment that you had to do that didn't end up getting broadcast because it was too far? Or
No, we pretty much broadcast everything. I used to have so many different answers for this one, but after 300 episodes, they kind of all just started just blend together in a nice little PTSD everything from the tattoos to them putting me in a swamp to them throwing me out of a helicopter to even the littlest kind of social faux pas things where I have to tell people they're cut off from the bar or their tip is the tip is crappy. It's everything in between. It's just kind of it all. It's given me a little bit of a thicker skin, but it's it all just kind of melds together now. We're trying to push the envelope now. I mean, last season this aired last season. This was kind of different, but I thought it was a punishment for Murr, and we tied him to the hood of a race car, and we had him reading the audiobook for one of his new books, and I thought that was the punishment. And I guess they kind of like we don't really get into this territory too much, so I was really taken aback. But they planned it so that on the track on a turn, he flew off the hood of the car, even though he was tied up, and he was really far away from us, like maybe 500, 700 feet. And he went down. I thought he was like really hurt. And we ran to him and they had paramedics there and they called for a helicopter and he wasn't moving. And honestly, I thought he was either paralyzed or I didn't know if he was dead. And I literally, I experienced the true emotion of me tthinking that he was severely hurt or worse. And then, of course, they told me that like he stood up and he had this is complicated if you didn't see it, but he switched outfits and it wasn't him on the hood anymore. So like when I ran over there, he was one of the paramedics working on the body I thought was his. And then he got up and pulled the wig off and turned to me. And I literally had like my stomach like had shooting pain because of it was like traumatic.
That's psychological warfare. Like that's like a Guantanamo Bay, like.
Yeah, that's
I think I saw real fear on your face too when they locked you in the hotel room with the tiger. Like
that's a good one.
That was like genuine, like I fear I'm going to die fear.
Yeah, that's definitely top three. That's up there without a doubt. You're right. I didn't even to this day I stutter to talk about it, but I didn't even think it was funny. I didn't think that would make the movie because I didn't think that there was any funny there. Like I was frozen, couldn't move, and the first thing I said, I don't know if this made the movie, but I just said, how do we get insurance for this? It
did make the movie. It did indeed make the movie.
Yeah, it did. Okay, yeah. So I just I guess it's funny when someone's frozen in fear because it ended up being people really thought it was funny, but I can't explain like when your body won't even let you speak a word. I never had that feeling before where like I couldn't speak, like I literally was frozen in fear, and I don't care how they vetted that situation, like it doesn't really matter. Like nothing they could say can be 100% that I was safe in that situation. So, so that was like, definitely that was up there. I was not anticipating being in a motel room with a 600-pound tiger.
Yeah, that's really evil.
I don't recommend it. I mean, I'm definitely building a lot of great life stories and experiences to share, but like that one was tough, man. That was tough.
Building up the stories, building up anti-anxiety medication and insurance bills.
And therapy appointments.
All of those.
So I loved your little cameo on What We Do in the Shadows, and I was wondering if there's any show airing right now that you'd like to guest star on.
Oh, right on. Yeah. Oh, that was that was like a dream come true to go on that show. And I got to be in a scene with all of them, which was awesome. I Always Sunny in Philadelphia is one of my favorites of all time. That's on. Of course, SNL is always a dream. There was this show on Netflix. I don't know if they're renewing it. It's either called Murderville, and it's like an all improvised like show with Will Arnett. I was trying to get on that for a minute. But yeah, like this. There's so many good things on right now. I mean, Severance is like the best thing I've seen.
I've been telling Sabina to watch Severance and she won't watch it.
Oh, it's a must. It's like it's up there with like, I mean, I guess what was the last show that I really thought this highly of was what was the show about the really rich family? Succession. Succession was the last show I felt this way about, but this is up there with like the Breaking Bads, the Sopranos, the Lost. Like this is The Wire. Like this is that good. So oh my God, I would love to be on Severance. What's crazy is they film it. We filmed Jokers at the Office building like 4 or 5 times already. It's in New Jersey. And it's just a trip to be there because I'm such a big fan. And I just like kind of walk around the space like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm here.
Okay, yeah. If like all of my friends and my family yelling at me to watch Severance isn't enough, now I have the Sal Vulcano, the word of encouragement. So
Yeah, you won't be
I'll,
disappointed.
I'll get on
Get
that.
on that. You're gonna disappoint Sal Vulcano.
Yeah, you won't be disappointed. And as the season 2 is almost ending, you'll have the benefit of being able to binge 2 seasons straight through,
Oh
which is
yeah, it's
great.
finals right now. I'm gonna finish and immediately get on my.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for talking with us. We really appreciate
We
it.
so appreciate it. We're so excited that we were able to do a giveaway for 2 of your tickets to the show on Friday, and we're gonna be there too. And so we're just ecstatic to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, thank you. You guys will enjoy it. Thank you. Get those. Tell everybody. Get them out of the show. And you guys, yeah, I respect what you do. And thanks for being prepared and asking really good questions. You'd be surprised. I do a lot of interviews, and a lot of them are high profile stations or networks, and they aren't always this engaged or this well researched and interested. So I appreciate you guys doing the work.
Oh,
Well,
we
thank
really
you so
appreciate that.
much.
Thank you so much. I was wondering too if we could get a quick like, this is Sal Vulcano and you're listening to KXDU.
Sure, no problem. Hey, this is Sal Vulcano, and you're listening to KXDU Radio.
Thank
Woo,
you so much.
Yeah, no problem, guys. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, of
Thank you
course.
for your
See you on
time.
Friday.
All
Bye.
right, enjoy the show. Bye bye.